Kamisha Mumford. I want to first thank you for your prayers, your support, and your votes, but there is more work for us to do. This runoff election is about our families, our communities, and our future. I don't represent any political machine or special interest. I represent the everyday people who desire an effective leader who understands the importance of collaboration that delivers results. On December 2nd, Kamisha Mumford, Senate District 26.
People, my friends of Felicia Muffin. Proud WMPR.
Everyone is an inspirational 100th year anniversary celebration at Morning Star Baptist Church, 3420 Upper Mile Road, Jackson, where you are invited to celebrate 100 years of ministry. Fame, God's glory, our story, reflecting the light of Christ since 1925. The celebration begins with a centennial gala, Friday, November 23rd at 6 p.m. Invitation only at the Hilton Jackson, featuring Dr. Jerry Young, guest speaker. Then everyone is invited to join the inspirational 100th year anniversary worship service Sunday, November 23rd, 10 a.m. at Morning Star Baptist Church, 3420 Albemarle Road, Jackson. With Reverend Michael Tolliver, Pastor Emeritus at First Baptist Church, South Hill, Chesapeake, Virginia, and Musical Commission, Dr. Raymond White. Everyone, please come and celebrate a century of faith, service, and God's glory. Pastor John R. Johnson, Morning Star Baptist Church, is proud WMPR underwriter.
It's 7 a.m. and skies and shine. So talks money, the future's alive. Grab your coffee, let's take a ride. It's wealth and wisdom, time will rise. Author, Mr. Educator, team sharing the wealth, building things you should do. From trust to banking, it's all a must. Your guide to wealth is learning to trust. Let's unite, secure it right. Dreams take shape with effort inside. Wills and assets, life insurance plans, building for your future with expert hands. Sometimes money and more, raising wealth with knowledge galore. Asset protection plans to grow. Dream and watch your dreams overflow. From saving today to trust for life, breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, banking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. From saving today to trust for life, breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, banking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. Something now it's time to learn. So wisdom's your return. Invest, protect, and thrive for sure. Signing off is go talk money and more.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. And good morning to you, Mr. Sherry Jones. You have reached So Talks Money and More. If your radio is on 90.1 FM or 93.1 FM, good morning to our listening audience as well as our viewing audience. California is in the house, Mr. Jones. They're checking in already on YouTube and on Facebook. Good morning to our viewers. I am Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, educator, author, and investor, opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted, and I am so excited and so delighted to be here this third Monday in November. We are quickly approaching the end of the month, and this year is passing on by. For many of us, given what we have been through as a nation over the last 40-something days, some of us are ready for this one to go ahead and wrap up and maybe see what 2026 brings. But until we get there, Today, we are diving into a warning that may seem like it's coming from the auto industry, but really, it's a wake-up call for every Black household in America. So if y'all not up, go on and get up. We got some things to talk about this morning. The Ford Motor Company CEO, Jim Farley, recently said he cannot fill 5,000 mechanic and technician jobs that pay up to $120,000 a year. The man said, Mr. Jones, he just can't find nobody. Nobody has the skill set for these jobs. Now, these are not low-paying jobs. Again, I said $120,000 a year. And depending on where you are, that may not be a lot of money, but right here in Mississippi, you can live very well off that money. Okay, these are not seasonal jobs. These are six-figure careers with benefits, stability, and room for entrepreneurship. Now, his exact sentiments were, we are in trouble as a country. We are in trouble as a country. And I'm not so sure that he may not be on to something right there. Now, I want to stop for a minute because I got to tell you some things that are happening in the workforce in case you have not been following what's really going on. So I need you to lean in and listen to me close. This is what's really going on in the workforce right now. Not only are there 5,000 job openings for high-paying jobs at Ford, but did you know that between February and April of 2025, that means this year, Black women lost approximately 318,000 jobs in the United States, even as the overall economy was adding jobs. I just need to let that sit right there. You know, Mr. Jones, we give a lot of statistics on what's going on in our community, but particularly with Black women. So I just need to let that resonate. 318,000 jobs were lost. Black women lost those jobs between February and April of 2025. And this is according to research by MSNBC, okay? The unemployment rate for Black women has risen sharply in 2025. The gap between Black women and white women widened from 1.7 percentage points in January to around 4 points in August, okay? All right, so to say that the American workforce is changing is an understatement, with Black women being pushed out of jobs at faster rates and with fewer pathways into high demand careers. What does Jim Farley's warning really mean for us, for Black families, Black youth, Black parents, and the Black community? Well, we know when America sneezes, that means our community catches a cold. But with America facing this workforce crisis, I want us to step back for a moment and think about something. Is this really, or does this really mean dire consequences for our community? Or is this an opportunity? Is this an opportunity, a generational opportunity? Now, if we get ahead of it, it very well could be. Very well could be. For those of you that are just tuning in this morning, we are breaking this down. There are some things that we got to talk about this morning that's going on in this workforce out there that's directly impacting the Black community. Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, is sounding the alarm because he's saying skilled trade jobs are sitting empty. Fewer people are entering vocational programs. College for everybody culture has pushed trade careers off the table. The country lacks a workforce, he says, prepared for modern manufacturing. EVs, those electric vehicles, AI-generated systems, and technical repair. Now, let me be clear. These are not those blue-collar jobs of yesterday. They are not. The new trades require coding, digital diagnostics, electrical training, robotics knowledge, and advanced problem solving. And guess who is perfectly positioned for those jobs when given training? Our young folks, our young people. Why? Because they have the tech savvy, hands-on, creative, and resilience for those jobs. We just have to direct them toward those jobs. We got to expose them, and we have to expose them early. Now, why do trade jobs matter in our community? Let's talk legacy for a moment. Let's talk long-term stability. Now, historically, Black households hold about 1/10 the wealth of white households. Black students carry higher student loan balances. Black workers are underrepresented in high-paying technical fields. Black families face more job instability during recessions. Sound familiar? Meanwhile, trades and skilled labor have been one of the most reliable paths to what? Home ownership, business ownership, debt-free career entry, six-figure income potential, generational upward mobility. When you think about it, kind of sounds like legacy planning, because that's what it is. Not someday, not we'll get around to it, not maybe, but right now, the opportunity is there for us, for our community, if we will take advantage of it. Now, while many families are pushing their children into 4-year degrees they can barely afford, and I say that respectfully because a lot of times these families cannot afford, especially if they got to push their kids to go get this student loan debt. You cannot afford it. The trades are offering paid apprenticeships, certifications under 10,000, fast track programs, union backed benefits, transferable skills, entrepreneurial pathways, and for many young people who don't want to sit behind a desk, this is ideal for them. This is liberation, not limitations. And I want to just stop right there. As someone who has worked in the academy, who has taught students from various backgrounds, college is not for everybody, you guys. As an educated person, I will tell you, I spent many years at the university, okay? And because that was my choice, and that's something that I did well, one of the things I do recognize is it's not for everybody. I remember distinctively being at the university and having students at the university level who could not even read, but yet they were in college. Okay? Think about that. Think about the number of families that go into debt, sending these children. And then let me just back up. We don't just send them to college. We don't send them down to the community college where, the same math and English, first year math, first year English, first year history is affordable. We don't send them straight to the university because, grandmama went to the university and grandpa and your aunts and your uncles went to the university. And so this is the pathway that you're destined to take. We don't do that. We do that. We do that to these children. And oftentimes that's not even what they want. You talk to a lot of these kids, they can't even tell you what they're interested in majoring in. But yet we continuously pushing them toward this college education that they may or may not be prepared for. Because we somehow think that, maybe trades are not the best thing for our children. But do we ask them what they really want? So it somehow makes sense to us to go put ourselves and put the children in debt, letting them try to figure it out, rather than steering them to something where they can go get a skill set, use that skill set to make money. And if at some point in the future they decide they want to go back to school, then they're positioned to do that. We got to shift. We've got to shift how we're talking to our young people. We've got to. Too often we say, go to college so you don't end up doing that kind of work. Well, what is that kind of work? What is that kind of work? Electricians, HVAC techs, welders, mechanics, plumbers. These people are earning, in many instances, more than some of these college graduates. That kind of work. You know, I tell you what, let your electric go out. Who are you gonna call? You're not calling a college graduate. You calling the electrician. Let that air go out in the summertime, or that heat go out in the winter. You see how valuable that HVAC tech really is. Or God forbid, let something happen to that car. Okay? Got to think about this and what message we are sending to our young people. Some of these people in these trades even out earn doctors in their early years. Why? Because they don't have any student loan debt. Many people are just over the last few years with all these student loan forgiveness programs have been able to get out from under some of this debt that they've been carrying for 20, 30 years. And it somehow made sense to them to go do that. But a lot of it is because of the messaging that we were giving them and that we continue to do that. We must stop equating trades with failure and degrees with success. Let me say that again for the people in the back. We must stop equating trades with failure and degrees with success. Choosing a trade is not choosing struggle. Sometimes it's choosing strategy. It's being real smart. Now, let's bring this on home. Right here in Mississippi, many counties here in Mississippi lack enough licensed electricians, plumbers, and automotive technicians to meet demand. That means, what does that mean for us? Okay, Dr. Williams, I hear you talking, but what does that really have to do with me? You know what it means for you? It means slow repair times when you take your car to the shop and they tell you it's going to take about 3-4 weeks to get to it. That's what it means. It means closed shops in some instances, and it means lost income. But I'm not just going to give you the negative. I'm not going to give you just the bad. Guess what else it means? It means opportunity. That's what it means, opportunity. Trade jobs allow returning citizens to re-enter the workforce. Young men at risk of gun violence to redirect their future. I want you to think about that. Any given day, we can pick up our phones. No, we don't do the paper anymore. Just pick up your phone and go to WLBT.com. And what's the headline? The first one, the second one, and the third one. Young man has killed this young man. Young person has shot this young person. Sometimes, if we have something that we can offer these young people, we can redirect them to something positive. Our young women, trade jobs allow our young women to enter male-dominated, high-paying fields. Male-dominated, high-paying fields. We have any number of young women that are now taking these CDL classes and are getting on the road, getting behind these trucks, driving, and are able now to make a decent wage to feed their families. You can't do that off these $7, $8, $9 an hour jobs. You just cannot do it. These trade jobs, a lot of times, will allow families to avoid generational cycles of job instability. What am I saying? Why am I saying this? Go on Indeed.com right now. I challenge anybody that's listening to me right now. I'm talking, okay? So you guys do it for me. Some of my people that are on YouTube or Facebook that are following me, go quickly and search Indeed.com and just ask how many trade jobs are available right now. How many CDL jobs are available right now? Right now. Right now. And for those who fear layoffs, trades especially when we steer our kids to these EV jobs and these AI jobs. They help them because these jobs are projected to grow for the next 20 years. So we're positioning our children. Now, for those that are listening to me, I might be striking a nerve with some folks and with others that say she's just talking, not talking about my child. But for those who want their young people to thrive, we must support exposure programs to our children early in middle school. It's amazing to me. Again, I go back to my time at the university, how many children come to the university and have absolutely no idea why they're there or what they're going to be studying. No idea whatsoever. And that might be okay when you're a freshman, but you certainly should not be a junior or a senior trying to figure it out after money has been spent, money has been borrowed, and you still walking around trying to figure out exactly, why am I here? What am I doing? Let's rethink this thing. Come on, people. Come on. We got an opportunity right now, right here. The handwriting is on the wall. They're telling us where the need is, what the market is willing to pay for. We can do it. Okay? We've got to. If we want our young people to thrive, we must support vocational pathways in high school. I remember being in high school and them having, the VOTEC and having all of these different programs that gave us exposure to different things. Apprenticeships after graduation, certification scholarships, partnerships with unions and technical schools. We must support these things. We have got to. And I just got a comment out to the questions that I asked. I guess my cousin did Google it for me. It says over 1 million jobs are currently available in the United States. And I hear people all the time saying, I can't find a job. Well, is it that the job is not available, or that we are not positioning our people, our children, our loved ones to be able to go get the jobs that are available? We've got to do something different. Now, for those of you that may just be tuning in and joining us this morning, good morning. Here at So Talks Money and More today, we are talking about what's going on in the workforce, in the U.S. workforce. CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, recently made a statement. He said he cannot fill 5,000 mechanic and technician jobs. These are jobs paying up to $120,000 a year. He said he can't find the folks. They're not out there. Okay. And he also said, as a country, we are in trouble. We're in trouble. Now, what Dr. Williams is saying is how does the Black community plan to respond to that? How does the Black community plan to respond to that? Are we going to sit back and just say, oh, that's a shame? Or are we going to use this information to start doing something differently, to start positioning our young people for success? What are we going to do with this information? It's one thing for us not to know, but it's a whole nother thing for somebody to tell us. When they tell us what they need, when they tell us what they're looking for, how do we respond to that statement? How do we respond? Do we continue to sit idly by? Do we continue to go have our kids borrowing a bunch of money to go get college degrees that some of them can't even use when they get out of college? When I was at the university, I used to always tell my undergraduate students, make sure your BS means more than just BS when you get out of college. Are you positioning yourself to get marketable skills? Are you positioning yourself to really take what you have learned at the university and go get what you need to, first of all, pay all that debt that you borrowed to get the degree? Are you doing that? So my question becomes, what are we going to do with the information that this CEO is giving us? What are we going to do with it? Are we going to go out now and start talking to our young people and having different types of conversations with them? What are we going to do with this information? Now, you know, Dr. Williams is a life and legacy planning strategist, and I'm talking estate planning, I'm talking life planning, I'm talking all of that all the time. So, you know, I got to bring this conversation on around to that. Y'all knew it was coming. Let's connect this now to the heart of my work, legacy and estate planning. Now, a young person earning anywhere from $60,000 to $120,000 in a trade, guess what they can do? They've positioned themselves to buy a home earlier, to start a business. Hey, how about this one? I spent a whole month talking about life insurance. They can buy a life insurance policy for themselves and their family. They can avoid a lot of unnecessary student loan debt. They can build retirement savings. They can, how about this one? Support aging parents. We know that's a real thing in our community. And guess what they can afford to do? They can afford to leave an inheritance behind. Why? Because they have the money to do so. They have the resources if they utilize what they have wisely. Now, when young people find stable income, Black families stabilize. When Black families stabilize, Black wealth grows. And when Black wealth grows, we change the trajectory of generations. Now, let's talk about barriers. Let's talk about them. Let's be honest, actually, about what the real barriers are. Why aren't we doing anything with a lot of this information that we've been given? We know that, you know, the electrician makes really good money. How do we know? Because we know based on that bill that they give us. We know that the HVAC technicians make good money. How do we know? Because when the air goes off in the summer, in the heart of the summer, or in the dead of the winter, we know how much we have to pay to get it going. And even though we may fuss and we may not like how much we have to pay, at the end of the day, we still gonna write them people that check because we don't want to be hot and we don't want to be cold. Okay? Bottom line, we don't. Okay? So let's be honest about some real barriers. Misinformation. Are we really, really telling our children the truth? Are we sitting them down and saying, okay, let's look at the pathways that are available. Yes, you can go to college, but we don't have the money to pay for your college education. So you're going to have to go in some debt, and it may take you several years to get out of debt. Are we having that level of conversation with our children? Are we really even being real with ourselves when it comes to that? Are we really informing them on the benefits, or are we miseducating, misinformation? Okay? Lack of exposure. Are we exposing them to these things? You know, when that electrician comes over to make that repair, or even the auto mechanic, when we take the car to the shop, do we allow our children to have a 5-minute conversation with that person to talk about, you know, what type of salary do you make? You know, maybe this is something I should think about. Are we giving them the exposure? Are we actually scaring them and telling them these are less prestigious careers, less prestigious? You know, you might have to get your hands dirty. Well, you know, I'd rather have some dirty hands and be fed than to have clean hands and I'm hungry. I'm just going to put that right there. I'll park that one. Are there limited technical programs in our communities? Are we advocating as parents Are we advocating with these school districts, with our representatives? Right now, we got campaigns going on. You know, folks feeling emboldened. They come in our churches, to our homes, knock on our doors, come to our schools, asking us for our votes. What are we asking for? That's my question. Are we asking for anything? They come to us. They ask us for our vote. Are we telling them these are the things that we need in our community for our children? Are we doing that? Transportation challenges. A lot of times, kids may have interest in going to these programs and being, signing up for them, being involved. They may not have the transportation necessary to get them to the training. Okay. And then our guidance counselors, what are they pushing? That's a question I have. And maybe some of you, I know our teachers, our educators are probably at school or getting ready to go to school this morning. But that's my question. Are the guidance counselors really, really in tune to what these trade schools, the opportunities and the benefits that these trade schools offer, these trade programs offer, such that they are promoting those as much as they are promoting our universities? Again, every child is unique, and God made us all in our own way, but college is not necessarily the route for every child. And some of us parents, we just got to be honest with ourselves. You know, it may seem like a good idea, but we all know our children. We know our children. And if you know your child struggled just to get through high school, then why would you just push that child over to higher education? Why would you just push that child without at least exposing them to an alternative? That's all I'm saying. Maybe they will still want to go on to college, but maybe, just maybe, they won't if they have exposure to alternatives. Now, we got to start advocating. We're going to talk about that on the other side. Where's my engineer? It's about break time. Yeah, I'm going pretty good over here. I'm looking over there at Studio A. I don't see my engineer. Y'all know these are times when I sure miss Mr. Armstrong. I sure enough miss Mr. Armstrong right about now. I'm just giving my team here a hard time this morning. We're going to go ahead and take a break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to come back because this is the discussion that Black America, we need to have this. We need to start thinking differently. It's time for us to start preparing our offense. So I'm going to throw it back to Studio A for a minute, and we're going to come back on the other side of the break.
This is Dr. Sabrina Edmond-Williams, educator, author, investor, and host of So Talks Money and More. You are invited to start your week with me at 7 a.m. on Mondays, right here at WMPR 90.1 FM or online at WMPR90.1.com as we educate, enlighten, inform, and empower our community about the importance of building, protecting, and transferring wealth. If it's Monday, so is talking money and more. So Talks Money and More is a proud underwriter of WMPR 90.1 FM.
All right, we're back. If you are just tuning in, you have tuned into So Talks Money and More. I am your host, Dr. Sabrina Edmond-Williams, educator, author, and investor, opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted, and I am so excited and so delighted to be here with you this morning. Now, we are talking about what's going on in the U.S. workforce right now. We are talking about it, and it's a conversation that as Black Americans we need to have, because there are some things that are happening right before our very eyes, and I want to know if we are even in tune, if we are even aware to what's going on. Now, the Ford Motor Company CEO Jim Farley recently said that he's having problems filling jobs. He said he has 5,000 mechanic and technician jobs that pay up to $120,000 a year, and he cannot find anybody to fill those roles. And he said his exact sentiments were, we are in trouble as a country. We're in trouble as a country. So I want to know what your thoughts are. I'm going to open up the phone lines here shortly. Is he right? Is he right? Where are the workers? What are we doing as a community to train our young people to be in a position, to position them, not only train them, but to position them, to be intentional about positioning them to step into these high-paying jobs? Now, again, if you were not here in the first half of the hour, I dropped a stat, and I'm going to repeat this because I don't know if we are really aware of what's going on. So I'm going to stop for a minute and tell you what is happening in the workforce, the U.S. workforce right now. Not only are there 5,000 openings at Ford for high-paying jobs, want to know what else is going on? Now, between February and April of this year, Black women that look like me, we lost a whole lot of jobs to the tune of 318,000 jobs. 318,000. Now, if you look at the data that comes out, overall, the U.S. seemed to be adding jobs to the economy. But guess who was on the losing end? It shouldn't be a surprise. Who's always on the losing end, it seems? Black women. Black women. I don't know if you guys knew that. Those of you that are following me online, I'll go ahead and put something in the chat. Were you aware of what's really going on in the workforce, the U.S. workforce? How it's changing, how Black women in many instances are being pushed out of jobs at faster rates and with fewer pathways into high demand careers. So again, I ask, what does this warning, when Jim Farley says our U.S., our country is in trouble, what does this mean for us as a community, for Black families, for Black parents, for our youth, and our community as a whole? How can we benefit from this quote unquote crisis? Now, when I said crisis, guess who stepped into the studio? Guess who stepped into the studio? I tell you. All right. My other co-pilot.
We gonna uncrisis you this morning.
You're gonna uncrisis me this morning.
Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
You doing all right today?
Yes, sir. I am wonderfully well. We're having a conversation around trade, and Dr. Williams brought up the issue that this automotive company can't find mechanics. We want to introduce somebody a little bit closer to us than the Ford Motor Company, if you will. And certainly, let me say this: we appreciate you becoming a new underwriter here at WMPR 90.1. That's the first thing. But introduce your business to us, because it's going to tie into what Dr. Williams was talking about.
Well, it's Patrick's Hughes Appliances, and we sell, washers, dryers, stoves, refrigerators. We get them in, and we go through them, refurbish them, clean them up real good, and then resell them to the public at a fraction of what they cost new.
All right, let me ask you this, because you've done several for me. I was humbled and blessed years ago, because in the area where your shop is set up, they used to have a flea market. Am I right? A regular flea market.
They did. They've recently closed that down back in, I want to say January. So now it's just a strip mall, and a lot of the people that were there before are still there, and they sell the same stuff they were selling before, but the flea market's no longer there.
All right, let me ask you this: for a property owner, and Dr. Williams, you are a person that owns multiple properties. Appliances may be an issue. What would it be like for you to have somebody on speed dial like Mr. Patrick? I mean, a professional person, not only that, because when I come look at it, I might not know what a heater coil is, but to have a relationship with somebody like Mr. Patrick.
Well, I tell you, Mr. Jones, that would be very valuable to not just me as an investor, but anybody that owns a home, because the truth of the matter is when things are built, they are not built to last forever. But the point is we have to have people with the skill set and the knowledge of how to repair our appliances. So small parts repair is a skill set that is very essential.
All right. Now, Patrick, the conversation this morning was about having people that will go into these different careers. Talk to us about yourself. Where were you raised at? Were you raised in the Jackson metro area? And then walk us into you becoming a business owner.
So I was raised over in Florence. I worked in Jackson for a little while at a couple of different places. Then I grew up around it. My dad's been doing it ever since I was a baby. So by the time I was 8 years old, he had me working on, stuff for him. And so I grew up around it, and that's the way I was taught.
I think that's interesting. And I want our listening audience to hear something, because when I went through barriers, one of the things that we talked about was lack of exposure. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, Mr. Jones, if you've been exposed to something, especially if you've been exposed to it all of your life, mm-hmm. it becomes a part of you, what you know how to do.
My pastor said you become a product of your environment.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. And so I think for our young people, a lot of times the reason why mm-hmm. they are having a hard time is because they have not been exposed to different things that would necessarily lead mm-hmm. to a marketable skill set. So I'm sure, Mr. Patrick, when you were being exposed at a young age, you probably weren't thinking about it in terms of, well, if I learn this, one day I'll be able to do this. You may have even been a little bit, what's my word I'm looking for? You may have resented having to do it, because oftentimes we do that, Mr. Jones. I don't want to do this.
Well, let's ask him. Patrick, mm-hmm. when you were exposed to it, now in your case, it was exposure. In my case, you didn't have an option. All right.
Now, well, that's how it was with me too. I didn't have an option. I didn't like it. Mm-hmm. It was hot, it was dirty, mm-hmm. I didn't know why I was having to do it. And, now looking back on it, I was thankful for it.
Right.
Okay. So now as a man, are you grateful that your father didn't give you an option or whatever? He just gave you the instruction. Are you grateful now that that's how it worked for you?
Absolutely. And, I wish I had the same patience that he did to do it with my son, mm-hmm. But I just hadn't been able to do it yet. So I think I'm a lot luckier than my son is. He's not having to do it.
And then, Patrick, we give them the option. You go back to he's not having to do it. Where do he live? Tell me the mortgage that your son pay, and do he pay the light bill, and is he buying his own car? Are we at risk, Patrick, when we give them the option not to pass on those trades?
Yeah, so he probably won't buy his first car. I'm hoping that when he gets a little bit older, I can start being a little tougher on him and making him learn that stuff. Okay. But he's 11. By the time I was his age, I was already working mm-hmm. on this stuff.
Okay, hold on. You helping us out more than we know. Mm-hmm. All right. In our community, just in general, we got young men, and we did a program. Dr. Williams, tell him about the program you did at We Care Church and the purpose of that.
Yes.
And Patrick, if we need to let you go, let us know, because I said 2 or 3 minutes, but this is helping us this morning. All right, hold on first. Marty, you got it ready? All right, kill our mic and do that for me. Hold on just a second, Pat, and we'll be right back. Hold on. Don't go.
All right.
New appliances, washers, dryers, refrigerators, well, you can find them just around the corner at Patrick Hughes Appliance, located 3064 Highway 80 East, Suite 14, Pearl, Mississippi, next to the Kroger. At Patrick Hughes Appliances, we offer delivery and repairs if you bring your appliance in. Refurbished and like new appliances, washers, dryers, refrigerators, and more. You can find it at Patrick Hughes Appliances, located 3064 Highway 80 East, Suite 14, next to the Kroger in Pearl, Mississippi. For more information, 601-291-1553. Again, 601-291-1553. Patrick Hughes Appliance is a proud supporter of WMPR.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, get the ink pens ready. Matter of fact, get your phone ready. Put this young man's number in your phone. If you don't have a problem already, when you have a problem, it's going to help you tremendously to be able to dial that number now. I'm telling you, and get somebody that's professional and dependable. You don't need Sherry Jones rolling up with a screwdriver and a pair of vice grips. Now, Dr. Williams, share with Patrick this event that you had at We Care Church. Now, let me serve you notice, and I want you to talk to her for yourself. My niece now, her oldest son came to that event, and she said that he changed the oil and serviced her truck, her SUV. And you talking about somebody that was proud that she sent him, but share with Patrick and the listeners that event and why it was important to you.
Well, I guess before I share the event, I have to tell you what led to the event. So I was at Walmart several months ago, and a young man came up to me for, he was having car problems and he needed a jump, basically. Well, in talking to him, he looked at me and he basically said, do you know how to install the jumper cables? And the educator in me immediately saw that as an opportunity, because I felt like if he didn't know, that there were probably a lot of other young men and women that don't know. And that was an opportunity for us to open up our minds and share the knowledge that we have. So we put together what we call Each One Teach One, where we brought in some more seasoned individuals that had certain skill sets, and we partnered them with some of our young people to just kind of work with them, spend a day working with them, showing them how to change a tire, basically exposure to even how to operate a lawnmower. It's amazing how many young people live at home and they don't even, parents and mothers oftentimes are having to pay people to cut the grass because the children don't know how to operate a lawnmower. So we were able to expose our children to these type things. And I tell you, Mr. Jones, I don't know about you, but it gave me a sense of pride to see our young people and how receptive they were to learning, how open they were. And we were out there early in the morning and the kids were there and they were just going from station to station. And, we had law enforcement out there working with them on just conflict resolution skills and just talking to them. I would rather feed into our children before there is an issue, Mr. Jones, than for us to be, crying and falling out and trying to come up with money to pay attorneys to represent these kids after they get into trouble. And I think it really does boil down to what we're exposing them to and providing opportunities for them to learn.
Absolutely. Look, Pat, we're going to let you go, man. I appreciate you taking this cold call this morning. Again, give people your location and your phone numbers. And people, I'm telling you now, put this young man's number into your phone on speed dial. And if you're a property owner, if you own these housing complexes and you want to have somebody that's dependable, trust me, again, he's got me out of a jam a couple of different times. And then we want to make sure that we work with him to possibly expose people. And the next time we do an event, certainly we want him to be a part of it because, some things I've been able to learn. Matter of fact, Pat, my son told me the other day, "Hey, we ain't got no hot water." I said, "So what?" And he was hot. Ooh, you get in that shower, and then if the hot water heater is not working while you in there, Dr. Williams, it run out. It'll do something to you. So he came up out quite hot. But I am familiar enough to safely relight my hot water heater. I don't recommend it for everybody, all right? So I was able to go up, first of all, and realize that, and sometimes, especially in the winter with wind or whatever, for whatever reason, it'll blow out that power light. And that's all it was. But it's important when people have these issues with different appliances that they got somebody dependable. And not only that, call him this morning, people, and let him know that you appreciate him supporting WMPR, because that's how we do what we do here. And then put that telephone number in your phone. Pat, give them your number, would you please?
It is 601-291-1553. And we're at 3064 Highway 80 East, Pearl, Mississippi. We're between Church's Chicken and Kroger in the front corner glass storefront.
Okay. And go over the different appliances that y'all regularly service.
We do washers, dryers, stoves, refrigerators, freezers. We give a warranty with everything. We offer delivery.
Those are 2 points right there that warranty, Dr. Weed. First of all, to stand behind your work. And then the next thing is when people got issues with how will I get it? So that delivery part is huge. Look, young man, again, as always, I appreciate the relationship. And again, thank you for supporting us here at WMPR.
I appreciate you. You have a nice day.
Yes, sir. All right.
All right, Mr. Jones. This morning, the CEO, Jim Farley, Ford CEO, is sounding an alarm. He said, as a country, we are in trouble. We are in trouble.
Say it again earlier, when somebody get a cold, what happened to the Black community?
Well, it says when America sneezes,
Okay.
the Black community catches a cold.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. Here's the opportunity in this. It's all in about how we respond. Now, if corporate America is telling us what their need is, the question for Black America becomes, what do you do with that warning? How do you respond?
We have not responded to COVID yet. We hadn't responded to COVID-19. We didn't respond to it when it happened. We died at a higher rate initially now than anybody else. You just mentioned with respect to job loss, who's impacted?
Black women.
All right. Who's dying of breast cancer more than anybody?
Black women.
Who's losing their babies more than anybody?
Black women.
I mean, have you seen a response to any of those issues?
Well,
a proper response.
Well,
a timely response.
I'm not going to say we've seen a timely response or necessarily a proper response.
Have you seen the agenda? Have you seen the table? Have you personally been invited to a meeting where organization ABC or, anybody, they've convened the meeting around those 3 or 4 issues that's impacting who?
Black women.
Black woman.
Right. And again, I go back to that, Mr. Jones. We have this warning. It's not a corporate problem. It's not just a corporate problem. It's a national alarm. And it's depending on how we respond, it's a generational opportunity, Mr. Jones. That's what I'm saying. So that's my question. And that was the whole point of highlighting this conversation today. It's one thing when we say we don't know, because I'm sure there are plenty of people that's listening to this call today that had no idea that in a 2-month span, we had that many Black women that lost jobs. Now, I just want us to go back. I said between February and April of this year, what changed? We're not going to say it, but I just want people to think about what has changed in this country. What changed in this country that led to, or could have potentially led to, over 300,000 Black women losing their jobs, unemployment. And this is the thing that I want us to think about too, because over the past few weeks, we've had a lot of conversation during this government shutdown about SNAP benefits and this, that, and the other. So I'm just as a whole, not us, as a whole. Okay. My point is, when do we get on the offense and stop allowing people to determine whether or not we eat?
When you select new leadership, that's when you select different leadership, that's when, not until then. Because Dr. Williams, when there are some things, right, that should just be unacceptable. All of us now, and I'm gonna come back and talk about the counseling part, right? All of us have certain triggers, and man, shouts out to the young lady coming on Friday morning, Serenity. Oh Lord, if y'all, I know y'all listen, and I appreciate that because y'all tell me. But please listen to Serenity on Friday morning at 7:30 to 8 o'clock. That young lady and her transparency is helping people, right? I have certain buttons, Dr. Williams, you push, and it's just unacceptable. That's the last button. And with me, that particular button is with our Black women, and it's not new now. My track record over the number of years. When you go across that line with our Black women, then I shut down whatever it is I'm doing, I stop it, and we're gonna start working on just that. Because I'm a firm believer, if we don't protect that Black woman, Dr. Williams, there's nothing else in the community that's important. And I don't see that in leadership coming from our community. You go over just those three things that you got listed. And it's been, since that information has come out, there has been several conventions that's been convened. And I guarantee you, let's check the agenda and see if those three things was on that agenda. And my point is, why convene? Why gather as a people if you're not addressing this? That's the same thing we deal with the holiday season coming up. We preparing the turkey. We got turkey ready, right? Mm-hmm. But do we have our trust ready? Will we even, when we sit down and we spread the table? And if y'all don't want me to tell y'all the truth about Black folks, y'all call and tell me. I'll leave y'all alone.
Ms. John, we don't have but 5 minutes. Don't get that phone started ringing.
I'll give Mr. Hart to loan me 10 more. When we set the dinner table, the giblet gravy, the turkey and the dressing, this coming Thanksgiving, Dr. Wheat, you've been on the air for over a year now, right?
I have.
Talking about trust, living wills, and health directives.
I have.
When we convene, and some of us know we just still gonna make it into the table, I'm gonna get my numbers checked. The question is, this Thanksgiving dinner, when we get through and we go for the second helping and we get ready to watch the ball game, will we talk to our family members about, do you have your trust? Do you have your will? You know Dr. Sabrina, will you? My point to you is, young lady, as much as I love you, I'm old enough to know now, if we don't change our habits, our behavior, and the traditions in the African-American community, we're not going to see any better results. Okay. Those are the facts.
Okay.
And we need an agenda and we need a plan. Now, if you need some additional time, I think today is the 3rd. The pastor come in on the 4th. We'll grant you some.
Okay.
Because you buy airtime here at WNPR. You contract with us.
Okay.
You need some more time.
No, I'm going to wrap this up because next week we are going to we're going to discuss these holidays and spending next week, right before Black Friday.
We're going to discuss what? The holiday?
And spending.
And what we going to spend.
Right.
even after the SNAP benefits, all
Right.
those got cut off.
Right.
You're going to talk about next Monday morning,
Mhm.
as a people, what we still going to go out and spend, even if we got to take the car down there and get the title loan to go spend it. That's what you're going to talk about. I'm just asking.
Mr. Jones.
I'm not
Mr.
coming
Jones.
in next month. You're going to be solo.
Look, you got my YouTube audience giving you shout outs. This is my show. It's my show. Stop it.
I'm done.
Okay. All right. So again, as we wind this thing down, Jim Farley's warning, it's not a corporate problem. It's a national alarm and a generational opportunity. If we allow it to be, if we move now, we can place thousands of our Black youth in high-earning, recession-proof careers. If we move now, but if we wait, if we continue to sit back waiting for somebody else, we risk another generation missing out on wealth-building opportunities. Family, this is bigger than jobs. This is about power. Remember, just a few days ago, the folks in power were determining whether folks eat or not, whether they had health care benefits. It's about power. It's about positioning yourself and your family. And it's about legacy. Legacy is what we're promoting over here at So Talks Money and More. Legacy. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. And I pray that something we've discussed today will spark a conversation in your home. As Mr. Jones said, families will be gathering. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Remember, legacy is not what we leave for our children. It's what we leave in them. And preparing them today prepares our community for tomorrow. This is Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, So Talks Money and More. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I look forward to being here with you, if the good Lord says the same, on next Monday at 7 a.m. If it's 7 a.m., you know So is talking money and more. Peace. That's where that outro comes in right there.
So talk to me more.